Everyone, my name is Michael Massimo, and today I'll be talking about my Learning Design Document 3. In this document, I'll discuss both the X platform, which I transitioned into Google Expeditions, and how I'm going to enhance my Animal Safari AR. To start, I would like to talk about the goal and/or problem for both the X platform and for my Animal Safari AR. To start with X, the idea of using connectedness, the idea of using problem solving, in addition to that using problem-based learning, it did not more or less coexist as smoothly as I thought it would. In order to revamp that, I switched over to Google Expeditions and was able to accomplish that. In addition, it had limited capabilities and the ideas of collaboration and/or structure. Thus, I did change it. On the other hand, with Animal Safari AR, I did have to work on some things such as narrowing it down, even though it was a successful project, with some of the suggestions that were given to me, which you will see. The ideas of being able to narrow it down to smaller group sizes and more specifically talk about other things of that nature. That's how I was able to come up to a resolution. In addition, restructuring some of the worksheets that I already had. And as a result, we were able to move from Web 2.0, which is considered X, to Web 3.0 for Google Expeditions, and also continue Web 3.0 in Animal Safari AR. Got some of the feedback. I would like to share with you some of the feedback that I received. Some of this included, as you will see, with the lack of feedback due to me not being able to submit it properly, I was still able to garner some, and with the lack of structure and lack of collaboration, it was not going to be a successful assignment. Thus, I did switch gears in order to do such. In addition, I was able to work on the same idea, but a little less focus on switching softwares, but more on honing in for Animal Safari AR. So now for Animal Safari AR, some of the suggestions from the group were ideas of making smaller groups and to hone in on specific activities, maybe using the jigsaw method where 2 students work together opposed to a group of 6, and then each pair of 2, let's say that makes 3 groups then within the large group, will meet back and share with one another to come up with a resolution and/or answers. In addition, some peer feedback was about maybe specifically talking about extinction or other things of that nature, which I did as well. As I here, so look at our next portion. Some of the new resources, though I'm not showing right here the idea of Google Expeditions, which I could show to you. I'm going to focus on Animal Safari AR because I completely switched gears from X to Google Expeditions, which is an augmented reality portion, which will be a virtual field trip using the Aztec Empire, and students will search in a gamified format in order to complete certain checkpoints, and whoever wins gets a grand prize. On the other hand, as you can see here, Animal Safari AR, with the groups and subgroups, each subgroup, as I mentioned earlier, to specify more vividly, it will be an animal food group, habitats, and geological locations. In addition, there will be collaboration as well, which I'll show you in a short video and a Venn diagram, a traditional diagram that I created on my whiteboard. And then down below, I modified a worksheet, which is also attached through my other documents. I'm going to pause real quick so we can hop over there. As you can see here, it could show you between the failures and successes when changing from the X platform to Google Expeditions. And then down below, discuss the different lessons and or information that I used for Analyst Safari AR. As you can see, I'll zoom in real quick here. Most elements were successful in the X platform with connectedness and problem-based learning. However, the idea of collaboration was missing and the lack of instruction. However, with Google Expeditions, the idea of having students connect with one another and having problem-based learning through the field trip aspect with collaboration in a gamified format made it successful. Now for the Animal Safari AR, with connected learning, their interests and relationships, they're able to develop these with the little subgroups if they're working specifically, maybe possibly with food. And on top of that, they're working with the same animal as well. And as the previous diagram above, problem-based learning, we want students that are assigned a problem and be able to identify the need to know and solve. In addition, students need to be able to learn to apply this to problem solving. So I'm going to show you a brief clip right now as I share screen. So I come over here. Actually, wait 1 second. Give me a moment. Now I'm going to share with you part of a Web 3.0 video that will help describe this idea in a little further detail and how it will be successful.
In Web 3.0, the internet will be accessible to everyone, anywhere, at any time. Because IoT, Internet of Things technology, will launch in several new smart devices. These internet-connected devices will no longer be limited to PCs and smartphones, as they were in Web 2.0. Understanding the shortcomings of Web 2.0, corporates like Amazon.
To pause there, this will help students, even though it's not necessarily just about the assignment I worked on, the idea of Web 3.0 will help with students with a collaborative process. In addition, because it'll be more accessible. So in assignments, like I mentioned earlier with the Google Docs, they'll be able to work on that outside the classroom as well. Now that I'm stopping sharing screen, and I'm happy that you shared your time with me, I'd like to say thank you for your time. And as always, you're all doing a great job, and thank you for your time.